What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio live in Tennessee. We got Jacob on the Wisconsin-Minnesota border. We got Tim live in Green Bay. Here to talk a little Packers this evening, gents. We have a good day. Everybody good? Everybody healthy?
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Tim's got a couple new toys here, so this is going to go off the rails real quick. Emilio,
yeah,
I'm good. Down God's chicken, right?
Yeah. Oh, slammed it. Didn't finish it all, so it'll be a nice little after pod meal ready to go.
I've never heard that before. That's pretty cool. Is that an Emilio trademark term?
No, definitely not. No, he blessed us with that chicken. You know, we got a great day tomorrow. We're ready to roll. I'm good.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A, bro. Chick-fil-A closed on Sunday. Very Christian-based fast food restaurant, and everyone refers to them as the Lord's Chicken up here. Emilio says God's Chicken. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? Jacob, how was your day?
It was good. It was real good. I had a good time. Had a fun pre-pod chat as always here. And I will say to everybody that's watching from across the pond in that old little weird, disgusting monarchy, have fun at work tomorrow, England.
How dare you?
Perfect drop, dude.
I think she's like Swedish or ugly.
Close enough. Yeah. Look at my man Josh Valanningham in the chat. Said cooking tomahawk steaks, drinking daddy sodas, ready to talk Packers. Hey man, welcome to the show, buddy. Appreciate you hanging out with us. M. Smitty says caught a bit of Bulaga on Wildy and Tausch today, and he brought up an interesting point on complimentary football and not resting on the thought of just get the ball into Love's hands to win the game. I bet that was a great conversation. I personally love Bulaga's takes. I think he's very realistic. I think he's just kind of a down-to-earth dude. The especially bothers me, but hey, it comes with the territory. I don't know if you guys have heard him say that, but he'll say, instead of saying especially, he'll say especially, and I'm like, I know I say 1,000 things wrong, and that's why I usually keep my mouth shut. But yeah, when I hear especially, I'm like,
you know what really grinds my gears?
It's the same thing when people say I could care less, and I'm like, that you mean
that's
you couldn't care less? They're like, no.
It just reeks of
true international coverage of pressure.
You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, though, let's give a shout out to our sponsors tonight while they're still here.
We still have those? That's awesome.
Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access. Wisconsin-based since 1992, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source. Got offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description. That'll send you to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Make sure you check with Ticket King before going anywhere else. You're going to be able to save you time and money. Again, that is Ticket King. Check them out at theticketking.com, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access. We appreciate them sponsoring the show. So back to acting stupid, fellas. We got the business out of the way there. All right. So a couple of things came across the podcast here. I've got a bunch of rankings queued up where PFF did like the quarterback rankings, all 32 starters ahead of the 2024 NFL season. They also went to the top 32 running backs in the league just to kind of see where everybody fell in the rankings. Is there anything y'all want to hit on before we hit into some of our topics? Because we're also going to dive into the first 10 weeks of the schedule and then do just kind of an overall roster ranking. Anything you guys want to hit on before we dive in here?
I got some random thing just to spark a little topic, if it was okay.
Let me give you some motivation. Go ahead.
I sent over just a quick. It was from it always says MSN, but they're a Substack of it. So I think it was like something the Gridiron Chronicles, I believe, that said the one position that Green Bay should trade for, blah blah blah, some sort of clickbaity headline. It wasn't that clickbaity, but when I went and read it, it made me just really mad because for whatever reason, this article said that we should be trading for Ryan Tannehill to get some depth at the quarterback position, to which that we've talked about here in depth. How, what are they called? Clayton, momentum killers? Is that what it was in the was it Bill Walsh that said that, or
it was they're called it was actually
progression.
Bill Parcells said progress stoppers.
Okay, thank you. And to me, and the fact that with how much talent we have on this 53-man roster that we don't even know how it's going to shape up, the fact that you just throw another guy in that mix and say, hey, you know what? I know we spent draft capital on quarterbacks for the last 2 years in the draft, and I don't know what you guys think, but a 5th round and a 7th round we've proved are not throwaway picks. We got our left tackle. All right. We got another guy that's.
I'll take Magoo. I'll take Clifford. I'll take Michael Pratt. I'll take Jordan Love with the flu over Ryan Tannehill any day of the week.
Tim's calling a flu game already.
Yeah,
Too.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Dude,
What I'm talking about.
Who wrote this article?
Seriously.
I don't have it in front of me, but I don't want to knock them or anything because that's like I feel like
I'll
that
do it.
is.
Jacob's so boring.
I feel like that's me. I'm always cutting it straight and narrow, guys, just for you guys. But I really do. It's that time of year where it's like, here's what you should do. I just felt like that it sounded like they really actually thought it was a good idea, though. And it was one of those articles that I just highlighted because it seems like it's that time of year when people are like, that's a good article for filler. I don't really have to dive deep. I don't actually have to look at the Packers roster and understand how they've drafted and developed and what the progression of their team is and where they're at with the 53 and where the scheme's going and Michael Pratt's like running ability versus the fact that Ryan Tannehill had like maybe 2. And here's what I'll say. It made a little bit of sense is that the only good or semi decent years that Tannehill had wasn't LaFleur, his offensive coordinator / coach.
I think LaFleur was there for 1 year. So yeah. I believe he did play pretty well under but you got to understand they had like the 22nd ranked offense too, though. So it wasn't like they were, lighting it up.
I think you hit it on the head though, Jacob, saying that like this was an easy piece to put together, right? You don't have to be a super fan to do an article like that. But of course, super fans like us see that and go,
Bro, really?
So.
And again, like it seems like somebody that was like, hey man, we got a deadline, we got a story. Can you give us any kind of like we need 1,500 words? Can you get it out? And he's like, yeah, I could do it. Packers, they need it.
They might as well just call us then.
It may or may not have been Matt Lombardo from Gridiron Heroes.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Here's what I would say to Matt Lombardo: lay off the damn weed because Ryan Tannehill. I mean. My goodness, dude. What are we talking about here? Like you said, the goal is to have as cheap a backup as possible. And now you've taken a second swing. You feel good about Sean Clifford. He was the backup last year. And now you've got Michael Pratt stepping in that may or may not beat out, Sean Clifford for that backup spot. And you got a minimum contract with those guys, I mean, so that's the part that's like it just doesn't make sense. What would you have to spend on Ryan Tannehill? I guarantee you it would be at least $4 million. I don't know what the market value is if they even have one.
That sounds
in the middle of trying to get a Jordan Love deal done.
Like, yes, $7.7 million. Yeah, no way.
Off the damn weed.
And if you're going to sign him on a 1-year deal, guess what? The cap hit's going to be $7.7 million. Now, what's crazy is if I remember correctly, and I could be off base here, I'm almost positive that Xavier McKinney's cap hit this year is like right at barely over that. I'm going to look it up real quick. You guys, I want to get Emilio's take on this.
I don't know. That is a hard pass for me. It's the most important position in the NFL, and they're just going to say we have Jordan Love, like Tim was saying, coming up on a contract, and we're going to go out and grab another one with basically 2 rookies behind him. So I don't see where he was going with that. And we have a wide receiver that can play quarterback. So
Tannehill's the kind of guy you bring in if you don't have guys like Sean Clifford or you don't have
exactly,
or don't have a Taysom Hill mini like Magoo.
Yeah. And just for the record, Xavier McKinney's cap hit in 2024 is $7.8 million. So
wow,
yeah,
okay,
that's just wild. That's absolutely.
That's probably where Rasul would have been, right around there, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around in there for sure. Yeah,
cooking.
So why don't we do this real quick before we dive into some roster rankings? Why don't we look at this tweet that popped up earlier from Sunday Night Football on NBC? It says, what will the Packers record be after week 10? And I know we looked at the schedule when it initially dropped. And, as we get into the offseason even deeper, and we're now we're just 14 days away from rookies reporting to training camp, which is wild to think about. I know things can change, but I love how they kind of highlighted the first 10 weeks of the season, and mainly because the 10th week is the bye week, so it's okay. What's the Packers' record going to be going into that bye week throughout the first 10 weeks of the season? So I want to get your all's take. Are you guys good with that? We kind of run through these first games. Everybody say win, loss. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't spoil it by saying what I think off the bat.
Tim said, I don't even need to see the schedule.
Tim says, I don't even need to say it, but the number's already on the screen.
There you go. All right, so
Yep.
at the Philadelphia Eagles, which is obviously a neutral site down there in Brazil. So I'm calling this a win. If it was in Philly, I would probably mark it as a loss, but the fact it's a neutral site, I know the Packers have an absolutely huge following in Brazil. This is going to feel a lot like a Packers home game. I truly believe that. So so I'm going to say win against the Eagles. Let's go around the horn. We'll just start with you, Emilio, and go clockwise here.
Yeah, I'm going to say win. Did you hear on the GM Shuffle, I believe it was, Lombardi was talking to a sports guy, and he basically was asking him what bet he would have placed on it. and he said that he wouldn't. Lombardi wasn't going to touch the Philly Packers game just because he doesn't like the out of country out of country games, all that stuff. And the other guy was like, dude, no, I'm all in on the Packers. I think that's going to be a W for them. So I'm here for a W against the Eagles.
All right, Tim.
Dub.
I was going to say drum roll, please. Jacob.
I wish I could be, kind of the
ESPN type and just disagree.
I was trying to not say ESPN, but I wish I could be the ESPN type. And just here's the deal, though. This, I believe, is the third or second full offensive scheme change that Jalen Hurts has to go through in his career.
Oh, yeah.
They got a new offensive coordinator, from what I understand, and
They got a new DC too, bro.
Just to think that they can patch all this together. And granted, they do have a really talented roster on paper, but on paper is just paper, baby. And unless you're Lil Wayne, something paper don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that honestly, if the Eagles actually do have a good season, it's going to be similar to what we did last year, where it's going to turn on in the second half. So opening day in Brazil, I don't think they're going to stand a chance against the Pack.
Yeah, here we go.
God, I hate that.
I know you appreciate that. All right, week 2, we got the Indianapolis Colts coming to Lambeau Field. I'm going to call it a dub. Emilio, what are you thinking?
I will as well call it a W.
Timothy.
Dub. I'll be there too. Dub City.
Whoa. Jacob, sir.
Yeah, I mean, that's got same kind of reasoning. Anthony Richardson, even if you think that he's going to be a freak, which I honestly do. Week 2, he's still working the kinks out, and that's a young team as well that has a lot of new parts. So,
all right, week 3 at the Tennessee Titans. I know me and Emilio will be in the house. This one does kind of make me go, it's the first away game, right? The Titans are by no stretch of the imagination a great team, but it's hard to win on the road in the NFL. I'm going to call it a dub, but this of the first 3, this is the one that kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah,
what do you think, Emilio?
I feel the same way. If that goes south, man, I'm going to be shotgunning a couple right at the end there, just to get us through. But I think we're going to get away with a dub there, right, and enjoy that trip.
There you go, Tim.
I'm with you guys. I think it'll be probably a closer game than we'd like to admit it will be, but Pack by 10 at least. I say a dub.
Ooh.
If the Packers win by 10, I'm going to have so many Nashville hot wings.
Mm-hmm.
And Amelia,
Hattie B's. Gotta go Hattie B's.
Yeah, from Hattie B's. I'll just lay down there in the bleachers, hot in the bleachers, and just take a nap. You know what I'm saying, around halftime. But Jacob, you got a dub here too, man.
Yeah, but like you guys said, it's going to be different. But I think you look at the fact Will Levis, new quarterback. They got no Derrick Henry no more, so they ain't leaning on that workhorse. I think the fact, like you talked about, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, when you talk about the Titans, who's their best defensive player?
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah. So he's going.
Very sneaky.
Yeah. And now who's their best receiver?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Hopkins is over there, right?
Who's their no? Is Hopkins still there? Yeah, he is. Yeah,
sure.
that's right. It'll
It'll be Hop. Got Tyler Boyd too, and they have Tony Pollard there in the running back position. So
Okay, Jacob, whose team are you on?
who? Just saying.
All right. So we're all 3-0 up to this point. Let's go now. Week 4, Minnesota Vikings come to Lambeau. I feel really good about that game. If it was on the road, probably be a little more hezzy. But yeah, I'm calling it a dub there. What do you think, Emilio? Minnesota Vikings come into Lambeau. Dub.
That's a dub.
Tim.
That's a dub. Expletive deleted the Vikings. That's all I got to say.
You think a Sam Darnold won't come in here and just wreck shop, man? Hey, listen, I will say this, man. Kevin O'Connell, he's a good head coach. He's a good play caller. I just think the Packers, they carry, even though they lost the last game that they played last year, I feel like they're carrying some momentum into this season. You know what I mean? They're kind of riding that emotional high of they finally got things turned around last year. And it kind of feels like the Vikings are going in the opposite direction momentum-wise. Well, it's all going to come down to how they start the season, too, those first 3 games of the season. If they come out hot, then they might have a pretty decent chance of beating the Packers. But if they come out and they're 1-2 or something like that, I'm feeling really good about the Packers there. But what do you think, Jake?
Man, I think I said this in the first time. I'm going to call this one of those weird losses that you don't think is going to happen. Aaron Jones returns back to Lambeau. Sam Darnold has a better start than people are giving him credit for. For whatever reason, the secondary maybe isn't covering Justin Jefferson during this game. Maybe TJ Hawkinson comes back in this game, and we have some trouble with the linebackers trying to. I have to give. I got to find 3 to 4 losses here. So I'm going to be. I hate it. I'm going to bite my lip and say it's the Minnesota Vikings with a win here.
Really?
Hit him with it, Tim. Punish that guy. All right. At the Los Angeles Rams. This is week 5.
Yep.
I'm going loss here. You got a healthy Matthew Stafford. You got Puka Nacua. You got Cooper Kupp. If those guys are healthy, I think that it's going to be somewhat of a shootout in LA indoors. It's going to be kind of a track meet type game. And I don't know. I just feel like the Packers are equipped to compete in the shootout, but just when you look at it across the board, I know many people are going to disagree with this, but I look at head coach, I look at quarterback, I look at edge defenders mostly. And then, of course, the guys who are protecting against the edge defenders being the tackles. I don't know who their edge defender is, but I give Sean McVay the edge over Matt LaFleur, and I give Matt Stafford the edge over Jordan Love if he's healthy. So I'm going to have to go with a loss here. What do you think, Amelia?
Took the words out of my mouth. I think I said it at the beginning when we did this a long time ago. But yeah, I feel bad for Han here, man. I think that's going to be a loss there, week 5. But thinking about it, the Rams we've beaten, I think, the past 3 times. So Sean's due.
Definitely do. Right?
He's going to have a play scripted up. Matt had no idea it was coming, and Matt's going to take it, 3 weeks later and use it against the Bears and just.
Yeah, great point, Tim. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, I'm on the same page with you guys. Like Jacob was saying about the Vikings, like the previous game, you gotta figure there might be at least one loss here in this first quarter of the season. And my pick is the Rams on the road. Winning 4 in a row, going into LA, tough environment, like you said, the bumps and bruises of the start of a season, plus the fact that you're going up against a pretty established offense. I think it'd be a close one, but that could be an L for the Pack.
Yeah. M. Smitty says LaFleur's track record for traveling west has not been the best. That's a great point. Eric Sutherland says, imagine that Jacob picking Vikings. What a bum. And let's see here. Reeves says, with the new defensive coordinator, nobody knows how we will scheme. And think about that with the Eagles, too. Now you've got Vic Fangio taking over as the new DC, but still, that doesn't mean he's going to run the same thing he's always run, right? So, yeah, just great comments, man. The chatter in the chat here is just awesome. You guys, I've learned so much from you all this past year and a half, 2 years. It's just so cool to see everybody's take. But, Jacob, what do you think, man, at the Rams? You got a win or a loss here, bro?
Yeah, I'll agree. First of all, I've learned so much from Eric Sutherland in the chat that I don't know if it's good or bad, but I've learned. That being said,
it's like that stuff you learned in 8th grade from the older students you wasn't supposed to know.
Oh, yeah, Eric will learn.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
If you learn from Eric Sutherland, it's like, remember when you were in high school like 20 years ago and they're like, here's a food pyramid. All you got to do is just stack your body full of carbs. You need about 15 vegetables every day. and then up at the top, at the tippy top, is your protein.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I love it.
But anyways, I do honestly think that this could be. I'll go back and forth between the Vikings and the LA game there as to which one will be the first loss. I could see us legit having a tie. I don't want to be that guy. I might, you know what? I will. I'm going to say we're going to tie in LA. We're going to tie in LA.
No.
I do think McVay and LaFleur are going to have an absolute
No.
crap.
I'm over here charting
shoot
this. He's going to make me put a tie column.
We're going 14. We're going 14-3 this year, buddy.
I'm just saying. I think my original guess was like 11-ish, 12 wins. I don't remember. So I got to figure out how to. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it's just like whoever it was. We don't travel well to LA. We don't travel well to the West in general. So I don't know, man. Especially depending on what happens that week before with Minnesota. I can just see us having a few bugs we need to work out, and LaFleur seems to always kind of. I don't say he loses to his predecessors or to his old conglomerate of coaches there, but it's definitely always seems like it's closer than it should be.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. Ron Sample says LaFleur has the Rams number. He's calling that a dub. That's a great point, too. Like I think it was Emilio was saying. Was it you that said Emilio won 3 in a row against him or whatever it is? He does seem to have Sean's number. There's no doubt about that. So, all right. Up next, we have the Arizona Cardinals coming to town. Now, I know we've been really vocal based off of our draft board and how we kind of seen some of these prospects. We feel like Arizona had a hell of a draft, right? Obviously, Kyler Murray's still your quarterback. You still got Pew Pew as your head coach. We'll see how that goes. But if this was on the road, I'd be a little more hesitant. But being at Lambeau, I feel really good about the Packers beating the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go a dub here. What do you think, Emilio?
This would be my only thought of a trap in the first half of the season. So I think I'm going to go with a loss here.
Okay. Got it.
And then we're going to have to turn it on for some quality opponents coming up.
Got it. What do you think, Tim?
I'm going to go Tupac LaFleur style with this one. Duh.
There you go. All right. Tim was going with the dub, West Coast style. Jacob, sir, how you seeing this, man? Arizona Cardinals at Lambeau.
I definitely think they had a good draft. But that being said, I don't know what kind of Call of Duty tournaments going on that weekend. So Kyler could have his head somewhere else. We're just assuming that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to walk in as Marvin Harrison Sr. in like year 9 and he's just going to be that good. Their number 2 is
How
Michael
dare
Wilson.
you.
Their number 3 is Zay Jones. They do have Trey McBride, but that they got Connor and whatever. I don't think that they're going to put it together. If they are, it might be a little too early in the season for them to really be clicking. Again, I think they're similar to the Packers, younger team. They're going to probably synchronize later. We're going to get a dub.
All right. Jacob gives it a dub. All right. Up next, we've got the Houston Texans coming to Lambeau Field. I'm going to call this a loss. I think it'll be a hell of a game. I think it's as the AI predicted, this is going to be one of 3 games of the year. That's just going to be like, man, this is going to be one of those. If everyone is fairly healthy going into the game, there's going to be a lot of buzz leading up to it. I think it'll lead up to the hype, or it will live up to the hype, I should say. But I've just got to give the Texans the edge here for sure, man. CJ Stroud, if he continues playing the way he did, Will Anderson off the edge played great. DeMeco Ryans has that defense just playing phenomenal. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. If there was one game on the schedule, they said you've got to choose at least one that the Packers are going to lose at Lambeau, this is probably it. Because I feel okay with them beating Detroit at Lambeau, believe it or not. We'll get to that in a second. But Emilio, what do you think, man? I'm going lost there with Houston.
It's going to be a big game. Everyone's going to be talking about it. It'll be all over the media. It's going to be, it'll probably be game of the week, all that stuff. So I think that if we don't pull off the win, it's just going to kind of fall into their narrative that CJ Stroud is an elite quarterback, so much better than Jordan Love and all that. So for that sake, I want a W here so that we can put our name on the map and get a little bit more respect going into the rest of the season.
Got it. Tim, what are you thinking, man? This huge matchup, Houston Texans at Lambeau.
Packers victory in overtime on a 53-yard field goal.
Put it on the ticker.
From Anders Carlson into the south end zone.
Ooh,
Kick that ball to Ashwaubenon, and we're going to win by 3 in
He
overtime.
said 74 inches inside the left upright.
After a shootout of a game, Stroud and Love throwing bombs all day, both of them well over 300 plus yards, multiple tutters. I think it's going to be a shootout. Packers get them in overtime with Anders
Love it.
Carlson. Let's go.
Love it. While Jacob gathers his thoughts, if you guys and gals would take just a quick second, hit that like button for us if you're watching on YouTube. It'll help boost the algorithm. Feel free to share. Go ahead and sub to the channel if you like this content. If you don't, have a great night. Appreciate you swinging through. And also on Rumble, hit that like button, and we appreciate everybody sharing on Twitter for sure. Jacob, how you feeling about it, man? Houston Texans.
I think that it's going to be a shootout, like Tim said. I can't remember what I initially said, but I'm going to go ahead and say that we would take the win. I think that it's going to – have we talked about if that game can get flexed or not? I think it was prior to week 8 they can't. Is that the thing I
don't know. It seems like it's changed the last couple of years. They keep flip-flopping back and forth and extending it and all
I'm
that.
pretty sure we looked it up. It's like a window of, I want to say week 7
like,
to week 10. It's
yeah,
like
and they can do like one game at a time or something
Right.
in that period. So that being said, like Smitty's saying here, they're adding Stephon Diggs, and people automatically think, hey, that's great. They have Stephon Diggs. But at the same time, last year and for the years prior, you had guys like Nico Collins, and now with Tank Dell and a couple other guys, they did some good stuff. And CJ Stroud didn't have to account for some whiny ex receiver that thinks he needs the ball every other play. So like maybe that dynamic throws a little bit. I mean, look at Stephon Diggs. The guy's so good. Then why can't a team keep him? Why doesn't a team want him? He keeps getting dealt away like he's a tuna fish sandwich 3 days old.
If everywhere you go, it smells like crap, check your boot. Okay, it's probably you're probably tagging that right along with you. So you went win right there, right, Jacob?
I'm not gonna win. Yeah.
All right. Next, at the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'll save the time, Dub. Emilio?
That's a dub for sure. We got to go in and beat Trevor Lawrence.
This will be the one we lose.
we got paid too, so or we will be paid here shortly too. So I think that we need this dub as well.
Got it, Tim.
Dub. We'll say hi to Darnell and Josiah down there. Dub.
There you go.
Dub City for the Pack.
Take a quick jump in the pool, right?
Yep.
Jacob.
Dub.
All right, got it. All right, and last but surely not least, the Detroit Lions coming to Lambeau Field. It's weird because with Detroit, we've lost to them at Lambeau, but we win on the road, right? Like we boat raced them on Thanksgiving in Detroit, but we lost to them, pretty ugly. I think you would agree, right, Tim? You were at that ball game at Lambeau. Do you think they get over the woes? I can't wait to hear your take on it. I'm going to go, since it's at Lambeau, I'm going to say a dub here against the Lions. Emilio, what do you think, man?
I think we're going to flip or split them, but this one we're going to take L. What happened?
I thought you were going to say that word.
No. I said we're going to split them.
Okay.
But this one is going to be the L.
He said we're going to kick them where the good Lord split them. You know what I'm saying? Tim?
Dub.
You need that revenge, don't you, bro? That was a bad experience.
Dub. We're going 8-1 into the bye. We're going to beat Detroit twice. We're winning the division this year. It's a dub. Let's go.
Woo! Jacob, sir, don't you let me down here.
Man, you know what? I have to side with Tim just because simply I think the Lions are a paper tiger because they were very good at certain situations and certain avenues, and they had a rookie tight end do crazy things. They had a really good number one wide receiver, but who's their number two? You're gonna say it's still what's his name, Jameson Williams? I know they signed some other older guy or whatever, but after that, it kind of falls off. I mean, their offensive line is pretty good. I'll give them that. The defense, I think, maybe was a flash in the pan, and that may be their downfall. And we're all just betting on the fact that Jared Goff is going to keep that kind of resurgence of his career from being a guy that was like, dude, that guy sucks. I can't believe anybody took him that high. I do like the coach of Detroit, so I won't cast him completely out, but I, like Tim saying, we are going to sweep the Lions. No, I'm not going to say that. We're going to win against the Lions at home, and then talk to me in another couple of weeks when we look at the back half of the season.
Got it. All right, so as we tally it up here, this is the total we came up with. Again, Sunday Night Football on NBC, their Twitter account tweeted this out and said, what would the Packers' record be after Week 10? Obviously, Week 10 is a bye week, so how are they going to be looking going into the bye week? I've got them at 7-2. Emilio has them at 7-2. Tim has them at 8-1, and Jacob has them at 7-1-1. All right.
Ooh.
So there you go. Let's say we were too polite there, right? We were too much of a homer group here. What if we've won 6 games, right? What if we're 6-3? That's still looking pretty nice, ain't it?
What if we're 5-4 compared? What did we do last year at this point?
Right. Because Matt LaFleur, historically, they really turn it on at the end of the year, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. There you go. So I thought that'd be a fun little exercise. I just want to kind of, again, we walked through the schedule earlier in the year or earlier in the offseason. I wanted to just kind of take a quick, all right, let's stop, pause, let's jump in, see how we feel right now. So I like it. Go ahead.
Can I say one more thing? Yeah, real quick. Is that when I look at this team skill set right here, every single one of those teams, they have at least a semi-decent quarterback other than the Tennessee Titans. But other than that, you have maybe 1 or 2 wide receivers. You have maybe 1 decent running back. I mean, a lot of those guys really don't have that standalone running back, at least on their team for this year.
Right.
But imagine
who is this semi-decent quarterback in Minnesota that you speak of?
Well, all right. So that's another one with Tennessee and Minnesota. You've given Darnold a little bit of a chance there. My point is that if any of these players, if any of these X receivers, if any of these quarterbacks, if any of these cornerbacks, if any of these left tackles go down on these teams, that kind of shoots them in the foot, especially at the wide receiver or the tight end group. Now, what do you notice on that list that the Packers, we could lose? And not saying this, knock on wood, any wood that's available. It would be, I mean, God forbid we lose Watson to a hamstring injury. Maybe, I don't know, Reed gets some bad kind of ankle thing going on for half a year. We still have 5 receivers, 6 receivers that we can trot out there that are legitimate players. I mean, even worst case scenario, something happens to the tight ends. We got another one that can come in, maybe another 2. If anything happens to our running backs, we've got 3 in the hopper, if not 4, that we're thinking can make this team. It makes sense that we have done such a good job of drafting and development, and then the offseason acquisitions of free agents that we're going to be a 7-1-1 team, baby.
I actually think I had them at 6-3, but we were weren't we 3-6 coming into Week 10 last year, and we made a run. So
bad?
It was something. It was pretty bad, man.
Wasn't it like 3-6 when we were playing the Chargers or something?
I'll look it up. Keep talking to me. I'll look it up.
I feel like we're going to flip that around. We're still going to have some else. The team is still young. Jacob finally saw it, and then I think at the second half of the year, we're going to tear it up into the playoffs. We got to get hot when it matters, right? It doesn't matter if we lose games early in the season, honestly. Like,
dang,
especially to a couple at AFCs. See, there we go. 3-7 through Week 10. Thank you, Mr. Smitty. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're right. 3-7. Wow. How cool.
Well, let's flip that around. We'll go 7-3 rolling into Week 10 and go for it.
That would be absolutely awesome, man. Angus McHaggis in the chat says Texans only have back-to-back road games once, and at the Packers is the second game of that. I take the Pack. That's a great pull right there. Because it does matter, man. Some of those games you go in, like really in college football, it's huge. If you want to really take advantage of some of the betting lines in college football, pay attention to these teams that have back-to-back tough games. Typically, especially after a rivalry game, that second game teams are beat up, right? So I think that's a great point there, Angus McHaggis. And M. Smitty says NFL can flex up to 2 games in weeks 5 through 10. So there you go, man. That could be potentially it, right? That falls into that window there. So again,
I think if you pull up the matchups league wide that week, I think Packers Texans is going to be the primo matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised.
The game.
Yeah.
I agree, Tim.
Are you trying to say, Tim, that's where the cream's going to rise to the top?
Actually, you know what? That wouldn't be Tommy Brady. That's a CBS.
Oh yeah.
Stay off my soundbar there, guys. Stay off. Oh no, that's the CBS game, at least according to the first run of the schedule. So I don't know if they flex that.
So it is. You saying it is CBS?
That's what it's showing on
Gotcha.
my
So that'll be
Tony
Tony
Romo?
Romo.
Oh,
Romo
baby.
going, I don't know, Jim. The whole night. Eric Sutherland says 7-1-1 WTF. Lay off the veggie burgers, Jake.
They're organic veggie burgers. They're the best.
Some would say they taste great. I didn't.
They would be liars.
Some would say. Anyway, all right.
You know what some would say? They would say,
Hey,
Some-
can I make one random
say
comment too that lets you know that there's still hope for America? I run a restaurant, as y'all know, maybe. The biggest thing that our biggest deficit every week that we have to log into our books and send to corporate is plant-based Impossible Chicken. We sell like 2 orders of that and we buy boxes of it. And it's to the point where I'm writing corporate and I'm like, dude, stop it. Just stop it.
just stop it. Send us more cheese curds.
Cheese curds, and my stomach hurt all the time. But I do eat them though.
I just had Culver's the other day. I do eat them too.
Dude, cheese curds, you can't go. Hey, by the way, man, I went through I went through Burger King the other. I haven't been to Burger King in years, right?
Uh-huh.
And there was no one there. There was tumbleweeds blowing across the park, and I was like, "This is bad, man. This is probably so bad." So I go in there and I get the cookies and cream milkshake, and I looked on the menu and I went, "What is a mozzarella fry?" So they got basically it's like the size of a French fry, but it's mozzarella sticks, you know.
Bro, really?
Hey, right here, man. Money. They were good, man. I was running out of the parking lot looking like Grady Jackson, bro.
They give you marinara with that?
I didn't need it. You know what I mean? I'm a man. I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? No, I didn't ask for any marinara because it was just that Oreo shake and mozzarella fries. It was good, man. Check it out. You guys, shout out
Did
to
you
Burger
dip the mozzarella fry into the Oreo shake?
I did not.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a Scotty thing. My
I had
bad.
not smoked that day, so I did not do that. I'm joking. It's a drug-free program here, folks.
It's like, I'm
I
joking.
don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Smoked a lot.
Yeah, so those days are behind me, gentlemen.
Gosh.
So, all right, let's move on to this next screen grab here. I thought this was kind of cool. PFF put it out. Well, they did roster rankings, and they basically went through and ranked every roster. That's why they called it roster rankings. Kind of cool, right? So the Green Bay Packers came in at the number 13 spot, and I thought it was cool. Some of the things that they put on the screen here. If I can make my screen a little larger because I am getting old. So here's what it says. The Packers came in at the number 13 spot. This isn't them saying they're the 13th best team. They're saying their roster. And some people go, that's the same thing. Like, no, it is not. This is minus the coaching staff. This is, you know what I'm saying? This is just strictly the talent. And they broke down some key categories, which I thought were really interesting. I want to get your all's take on each of these categories. So first things first, biggest strength in 2023 is the passing game for the Packers. The emergence of Jordan Love and the Packers' cascade of young weapons was one of the biggest stories in the NFL last season. From week 9 onward, Green Bay ranked 3rd in the NFL in offensive grade, and Love led the league with a 90.7 passing grade. If the Packers performed that well offensively for an entire season, they could find themselves in Super Bowl contention. And I personally think that's just a part of the plan there, fellas. So biggest strength in 2023, obviously, is the passing game and Jordan Love. 90.7 passing grade, boys. I don't know if y'all got anything to add to that, but that's just absolutely phenomenal. And that's Aaron Rodgers' top grading right there in the last 9 weeks.
That's a dog right there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, and the fact that, like we just talked about, that we were 3-6, 3-7 if you include the bye. That's insane. So there is room for improvement for Jordan Love's score there.
There you go.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. He wears number 10 because he only throws dimes.
Some people say that, not me. Some people say it. Biggest weakness in 2023. Now, you guys remember the conversation we had last night about middle linebacker? You remember that? It was ugly.
Yep.
They're saying middle of the defense. While the Packers excelled offensively last season, the same can't be said for their defense. New defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley will be looking for improvement at linebacker and safety in particular. Those groups ranked 31st and 24th, respectively, in overall grade last season. Several new additions to both units will be key to the Packers' success. So obviously the biggest weakness, it's not saying it's going to be the biggest weakness this year. It's saying it was the biggest weakness in 2023. Kind of addressed it. You go out and get Edgerrin Cooper, right, to play alongside Quay Walker. Hopefully He wins out that number 2 linebacker spot there in the nickel 4-2-5. And then you go out and get Xavier McKinney as well, which we'll talk about in a second. But anything you guys want to add to the middle of the defense, anything you disagree with there? Because what gets me excited about that is you can only go up there. And again, this is when you're talking about how they graded out, this is how the players played. You know, this is how they performed. You could turn on the tape, view it yourself. You guys heard me all year long watching it going, what in the, like, why are these dudes just standing there? What are we even doing?
Spot drop.
What's that?
Spot drop. How much spot drop do you think we're going to see them playing in this half lead system? I think half's going to have these guys downhill in the middle of the field.
Right.
What was you going to say, Emilio?
I was saying, what Lombardi always says is your defense is only as fast as the middle linebacker. One thing that does get me excited is our middle linebacker, Quay or Edrin, whoever it's going to be, even Isaiah McDuffie, they're still all pretty fast, right? So I'm not worried about the speed. We got to make the progress of, vertical, like Tim was saying. We got to get upfield. We got to get side to side with smarts and knowing where we're going as a group.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Right. Also in the article, you got anything there, Jacob, or no?
No, we're good. We can move along.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the approval there. All right. So X Factor for 2024, safety Xavier McKinney. Green Bay's biggest free agent acquisition was safety Xavier McKinney. The former Giant led all safeties with a 91.2 coverage grade last season. His prowess in a single high alignment is an ideal match for Jeff Hafley's defense. McKinney's presence should improve a secondary that has struggled to cover the middle of the field. So essentially what you're looking at here with McKinney being the X factor, you took a weakness in Darnell Savage or Anthony Johnson Jr., whichever one was playing post safety after the after snap rotation, and you turn it into a strength. There's no denying that. 91.2 coverage grade last season for Xavier McKinney. So I think it's going to be absolutely huge, guys. What do y'all think about that? Anything you want to add to that?
You remember that song, X Gon' Give It To You?
Jam.
That's his theme song. I want to hear him running out of the tunnel to that for sure. I love that X is the X factor. It's appropriate. I agree 100%. If this dude does half of what we think he's going to do, we're going to go off this year.
Yeah.
Number 4 safety in the league last year. Absolutely an upgrade. And I think it's going to, leapfrog this defense forward, being able to handle down the back end while we still have all that elite talent up front.
Definitely. Smitty said that was a part of what Bulaga was talking about today. He mentioned the potential scheme we are playing on defense when executed right is one of the harder to play against. Go ahead, Jacob.
No, I was just going to say that I agree that Xavier could be that X factor, but maybe one other like catapult for him being that X factor is the fact that we maybe have Javon Bullard coming in and just playing, even if he plays decent his first year, that will give Xavier the ability to be moving around, playing more free, playing more kind of with his hair on fire. And I really wanted to do an DMX impression, but there's nothing he's ever said that I can repeat on this podcast. But X gonna give it to you. It's pretty good.
Where my dog's at?
Hey, that was good,
How
Tim.
dare you?
That was good.
That was good, actually. But I always remember on his albums. And again, that was back in the smoking days. So it is what it is.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
No, I was not. Sir. I was not. All right. Rookies to watch. Edrin Cooper. Devondre Campbell departed for San Francisco this offseason, leaving a void next to Quay Walker at linebacker. Second-round pick, Edrin Cooper is the most likely man to fill that spot. Cooper is an athletic presence who led all FBS linebackers with a 90.8 overall grade last season. Now, we showed you the analytics, too. It showed how when it came to the point system that SIS, Sports Information Solutions, uses and their data, that Isaiah McDuffie was actually a better linebacker, far fewer snaps than Quay Walker, but he played better than Quay Walker last year. If they do hit on Edrin Cooper and you keep Quay in the lineup, man, when you do have to rotate Isaiah McDuffie in there, you feel even better about the linebacking core. One thing I know, I'm glad Devondre's gone because after going back and watching that, and I didn't feel like this at the end of the year, when we went back through and watched the snaps again, it was like this dude played really bad football last year. So
Almost
I
a
think,
liability. Yeah.
yeah, big time. So I think Edgerrin Cooper is going to be a huge upgrade if he can grab this defense. And again, when people hear that, they go, well, how do you know? Do you think he will? You go off of what you hear, right? And we heard Matt LaFleur say, I think it was Paul Brettel that reported it, that they threw, hey, I'm going to throw a little wrinkle at Edgerrin Cooper here. They said he sniffed it out, didn't take the bait, read the play perfectly. Matt turned around, looked at the offensive coaches and said, did somebody tell him what we were doing? And they went, nope. So it sounds like it's clicking for Edgerrin Cooper. That makes me feel really good about him, Quay Walker, and Isaiah McDuffie.
And I feel great that our boy Eric Wilson was re-signed too.
Oh man, huge!
You know, like that dude. Not just the special teams contributions from him, because that can't be understated at all. But I believe he's a good 3 or 4 guy on the depth chart in the middle of the field there. So feel pretty good about him.
Did someone just hop to him?
Yeah, somebody just talked to it over there. Amelia, what are you doing?
That was Chick-fil-A finishing up. So what I'm going to say about Edgerrin Cooper is Lombardi calls him a crib linebacker, meaning when his mom first got him out of the crib, he said, Junior Seau was a crib linebacker. Edgerrin Cooper, when that man got out of the crib, was born a linebacker. The way he moves, the way he plays, the way he hits, everything about him. So I'm ecstatic that he's on our team. I can't wait to see what he looks like running around in green and gold.
That is high praise right there, because he always refers to Tom Brady as the crib quarterback, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's some high praise there, man. I hope you're right, dude. I hope that's the case for sure. All right, so the final summary here, the summarization, if that's a real word, I don't know if it is, says over under 9.5 win total. They're picking over. Says the Packers were scorching hot down the stretch last season. They gave the NFC champion 49ers everything they had in the postseason after easily disposing of Dallas in their opening game. If Jordan Love continues last year's late season performance, double-digit wins will once again become the standard in Green Bay. So,
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So
This is perfect.
that's the final question of the night that I have for you guys. Over under 9.5 wins. You taking the over or the under? I'm pretty sure I know the answer to everybody's question here. So if you do, let's do it this way. If you go over, give me a win total, just right off the top of your head. Don't think about what we predicted before, because that's the whole point of doing these exercises over and over and over. More information comes in, get a little closer to the season. Sometimes you can sway a little bit. Don't try to just say, I said this is what I'm going to do. What's on your heart? We'll go around the horn with that. Emilio, over, under. If it's over, how many wins, man?
Over at 13 wins, please.
I love it. Tim?
I said it before. I'll say it again. 14-3 over 14 wins.
Over 14-3. Got it. Jacob?
11.5. Sticking with that tie, baby.
Oh, my God. Are you really thinking 11 wins, though?
I would say that's my floor. And I want to be – I believe I said 12 last time. I want to say I think realistically that's how the cookie will crumble.
Got it. Yeah. I think if I remember right, too, I said 10 to 12. And the number I keep coming up was 12 in my head every time. It's like I just feel like 12 wins is really doable. So
you know what, Eric? Eric's not coming to my party anymore.
What a bum. I'm trying to figure out what's on that shirt picture he's got there, but I'm afraid to keep it up on the screen too long.
I don't know.
Do you guys know what it is?
No.
Nope.
All right, we're going to find out. I apologize if it's inappropriate. Let's see what it is here. Oh, it's Hawk Tua.
Hawk Tua.
Open up a can of Hawk Tua. Got it. Good stuff. All right, there you go. All right, boys, we're at the 48-minute mark. We're going to get done in 50 minutes tonight. Round the horn. Anything else y'all wanted to hit on? Any other topics? Anything that you've seen come across the wire? I know, Emilio, you've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I know, Tim, you're plugged in. Anything else y'all want to hit on?
Yeah, Lombardi's coming home.
Yep. That's all we're calling it, too.
Yeah, this is Lombardi's coming home 2024.
Yep. They might as well start building the tower for the room.
Yep.
I love it. Jacob, parting thoughts, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident. I'm not calling my shot already. You guys are Babe Ruth in it right away.
You might as well.
July.
So?
Again, I'll just say I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday tomorrow. And just remember that we took this country with some grit, guts, and a lot of firepower. So just keep that in your minds. And I will say one thing, too, is if you guys are out shopping in the Green Bay area, anywhere in the Wisconsin area, I found this hat the other day at the Goodwill. It's from 1991. It's 20% wool, 80% acrylic. They don't make these anymore like this. Every single hat I wear just falls apart, like, you know, whatever. So if you can find any of that memorabilia or any of that kind of gear, maybe shoot me a text and just see if I wouldn't mind paying you a $5 shipping or premium charge. I like that stuff, man.
My man You're gonna get lead poisoning from that hat. It's made of something that's illegal now. I love it.
I don't even care. I don't even care.
Oh man, that's hilarious, dude.
Jacob's like, I don't care. I got a deal.
Yeah.
It's funny because he said anybody in the Green Bay area, I thought he was gonna start selling T-shirts out of his trunk or something. I was like, you guys can catch me over at Costco. I'm gonna be selling T-shirts.
We're gonna give him some.
Man, putting that truck to use.
What's that Dwight Schrute quote? Is it beats Bears Battlestar Galactica? I think Eric has another one.
Yeah.
God, guns, and the Green Bay Packers. I'll take that.
Oh, man, Uncle Eric, I love
Uncle
it.
Eric.
We got to give Uncle Eric one of those.
Keep the pets inside tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's the most random thing ever.
I'm just trying to help everybody out. Keep
no,
it
that's
inside.
true. Pets are sitting
covered
inside.
everything.
They're tomorrow. They're sitting there like they're in Vietnam. They're like, I don't know what's happening. Just give them a gummy and just let them chill, bro.
We covered wool caps, keep the pets inside. Eric Sutherland's talking guns. Well, I think we've covered all the bases tonight.
I think so too.
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah.
Angus McHaggis, 15% or less asbestos is safe for us.
Jacob doesn't buy anything from Goodwill if it's not
65%.
65%. That's what we exactly.
Asbestos means the bestest for me. Sorry.
That's where we're in it. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This is fun. We're just going to wrap up right now while we're ahead because it's only going to get worse from here. Some people are going, buddy, it got worse about 20 minutes ago. I agree, but we're just going to go ahead and call it a night. So thank you all for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. I know the chat was lit up. Hit that like button on your way out if you don't mind. And feel free to share, man. If you're too embarrassed to share that you watch this show, I completely get it. But if you're brave enough, do it. All right? Just do it. As someone famous once said. Wasn't that George Washington that said, just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Tim, help me out here, please, sir.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Go Pack, go.